Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. Yes, I understand. I understand. I know. I know. It is not. It is ominous. It's ridiculous. There's so many things wrong with this whole thing. And again, in the words of JR.
Hey, look at this! We got some problems here! We got some problems here!
We have some serious problems going on with this fight. First and foremost, Mike Tyson is going to be 58 by the time that fight happens in July on Netflix. And Jake Paul's fight. See, I thought we were done with this, with him as a boxer. Because after he got beat by Tommy Fury, after he had been fighting UFC fighters, NBA ball players, old folks, 40 and up, now you're going and you're fighting somebody who is legitimately as old as your dad. A 30-year age gap. This is ridiculous. This is stupid. It's horrible. We don't want to see this. We don't want to see this. We don't want to see this at all because I don't want to see Mike Tyson knocked out. And I understand we're talking about Mike Tyson. We're talking about one of the most ruthless killers that the heavyweight scene, that the boxing scene has ever seen. A icon of this generation and the past generation. One of the greatest boxers in the history of the sport. I get that completely. But we don't want to see him fighting out somebody with a 30-year age gap. That is not okay. That's horrible. And again, it's not like Mike Tyson needs the money. He's been doing well off. He's got his weed dispensary. He's got his weed empire that he's growing. He's got his own gym that he's training in and trains other people. He's a public speaker. He's got a phenomenal podcast that is one of the biggest in the world. His brand has eclipsed many other companies. He has done everything phenomenally. So it's not like he's scrapped for money. Granted, the Netflix bag that they threw at him was probably ginormous. But the point is, Mike, we know that you love fighting. If this was in the prime, we understand Jake Paul would die. And I do mean die. At minimum, he's going to the hospital. And he's never fighting again. You're doing it. You beat him so quickly, it's disrespectful. You beat him quicker than you beat Marvin Frazier. You beat him worse than you beat Peter McNeely in your first return to boxing after your prison sentence. You destroy Jake Paul. You kill him. You make him wish he was never born. You, at your best, even past your prime. If you were fighting him at the same age you fought Roy Jones Jr., I would say that you beat him. More than 45, 50, beat him. But pushing 60. Now, I want to believe that you can. But boxing logic says that you won't be able to do it. And this is not because, I don't believe in Mike Tyson. No. We saw this story before with Evander Holyfield. Holyfield came back and fought, Victor Belfort, I believe that was his name, a UFC fighter, who came back. He looked chiseled like an Adonis in terms of Evander Holyfield. Looked great. It was on Triller, I believe. One of the new networks, I can't remember. But either way, Evander Holyfield came back for a boxing match, a legitimate one, and looked cut up in the best way possible. Looked defined, looked fresh, looked good. Had me thinking that, we might see a semblance of the old Evander Holyfield to some degree. But he looks like he was still cracked. And then he got whitewashed. Granted, Victor was juiced to the gills with drugs and steroids. And that's more likely why he won. But still, even with that being said, when you watched Evander Holyfield fight, his body wasn't reacting like his mind wanted to go. It just wasn't. It wasn't moving like he wanted to do it. He knew. I saw what he was trying to do. Trying to push Victor away. Trying to essentially utilize the ring. Trying to throw that jab with sharpness and with power. His body just couldn't do it. He just couldn't do it. Because it was too old. And going up against somebody that was younger, relatively that young and spry compared to Evander, he couldn't do anything. This is not like Foreman coming back at 42-45 and winning a title. This is Jake Paul only fighting because his last couple fights nobody cared about, because he went and fought Tommy Fury and lost versus somebody that was relatively close to his age, his talent level, and his youthfulness. He got beat. He did get beat. He got outboxed. And we didn't care. For all the other times that he fought, he didn't care. Fought 2 more times, boom. Knockout. Okay, fine. One of the people essentially landed a punch on him but didn't throw back willingly, almost like he was waiting to get knocked out, legitimately. And the other dude, a professional boxer, both of them were professional boxers, but they were both scrubs. Worse than what he had fought before. It's ridiculous. And now he's fighting a 60-year-old man. Even though it's Mike Tyson, it's a 60-year-old brother. I don't want to see Mike Tyson get knocked out. I don't want to see Mike Tyson lose. Lord willing, we see Mike Tyson put this man in a coma. We somehow turns back the clock and puts this man out for good. Legitimately. Puts him in danger. I hope so. Maybe that's me being too aggressive, but I don't care at this point. We know what Jake Paul has been about. He willingly, when put up against competition up on his level, he can't win, but he doesn't want to fight them. Vidal, who is currently ranked above him in terms of WBC rankings, for a title. He could fight him, who's also a YouTuber, who's also a social media star, who is also a legitimate boxer, actually talented, actually in line for titles, not even being funny. I'm serious. Vidal, I believe this was his name, Vidal. But he won't fight him. KSI, who's been right there. Both of you have been building up your abilities, and you won't fight him. You're bigger than him, weight-wise, and you won't fight him. I don't understand. I really don't understand. But you'll fight a 60-year-old. And we know why. Let me phrase it. I do understand. It's because of the money. It's because of the cachet, the name value. Your ability to be in the ring with one of the best in history is what you want. But as somebody said, in fact, Pain Game, True Jordy, some of y'all, if you don't know, follow. Hey, put some pretty good content out. But he said it best. If Jake Paul knocks out Mike Tyson, he will be hated for the rest of his life. And I do mean for the rest of his life. This is not a fair fight. This is not a fight that on paper should be competitive in any way, shape, or form. Though we understand it's Mike Tyson. This is not what we want to see. And we know why you're doing this. Only to get some type of big name reaction. That's it. That's it. Now, this won't hurt Mike Tyson's legacy in terms of who he is as a boxer, because we know what he was. And we know what he would do. If this was even 10 years ago, shoot, let alone 5 years ago, or if he had fought Jake Paul instead of Roy Jones Jr. at that stint in time. Okay, hey, maybe even then. But you're only doing this so that you can get some big name. And we know you just want to stand there and say, I knocked out Mike Tyson. The world doesn't want to see that, because we don't want to see an icon like that put down. Because where we have put Mike Tyson, understandably so, has been on such a high pedestal and throne due to the aura and what he brought to the sports world as a whole. As a whole, this man helped shape people's lives with how he fought. Inspiration to this day comes from him. This is ridiculous. This is like somebody getting in the ring with Sugar Ray Leonard now. It's like Tommy Hearns now. George Foreman now. Now again, Mike Tyson's a freak of nature. Mike Tyson's somebody who has ate, slept, and breathed nothing but violence, boxing, and the sweet science. All his life. We understand it. Again, if I didn't say this before, I'm saying it now. This is the most knowledgeable boxer that Jake Paul has ever faced. And even now, like when he fought against Roy, he looked so good. And he was able to perform to some degree. In fact, holding himself back when he fought against Roy Jones Jr., legitimately pulling punches to make the fight go on. though he could have landed on Roy. And Roy had been more active, mind you. Roy's most recent fight, it came like last year, but before that fight with Tyson. He had just gotten in the ring and then fought in the ring a couple times in the past, so he had been active. And he did that to Roy Jones Jr., an active Roy Jones Jr. Though we know Roy isn't nowhere close to where he used to be. 15, 20 years out the ring versus a year or two. Still training as if you're getting ready to fight in terms of Roy Jones Jr. And you do that, that's incredible. That's phenomenal. So even now we understand that Mike Tyson still looks like a killer. He still trains in the gym. Still has a personal trainer that he goes and does videos on. Still does comedy. He still looks great. Don't get me wrong there. With all of that going for Mike Tyson, it's still so much going against him because he's 60 years old. Most importantly, his chin, bigger than anything at 60 years old. Can you take a punch? Can you take a shot at 60? Can you be able to withstand somebody, especially with legitimate pop, as Jake Paul at 60 years old? Is your reaction time the same? All these questions swirl around, and it makes this fight more and more ridiculous and makes me hate the actions of Jake Paul even more. Because we understand what this is all about. Just to put your name in some sort of controversial light. And it will. You'll be hated for the rest of your life. You will be hated for the rest of your life if you knock out Mike Tyson. Now, we could also see Mike Tyson knock out Jake Paul, and I'm hoping that happens. I'm hoping so much that happens. I want that so much. I've never wanted something so much in my life. Well, there's only few things I've ever wanted this much. This is one of them. Mike to end this and knock Jake Paul clean out. Put him in a coma. That would be the best. Put him in a coma. Land that one big shot because the power is the last thing to go. And he is still indeed strong. Let's not get that twisted. He is still indeed strong. But it's all because Jake Paul, cherry picking old fighters who either haven't been in the ring, they have never fought in the boxing realm before, or haven't been in the ring for up 10 years. And it's such a blatant ploy that I just don't want to see a hero of mine get hurt. I don't want to see him get beat. If it was Tyson versus Holyfield, if it was Tyson versus James Toney, if it was Tyson even versus the Razor Ruddock now, okay, fine. I'll watch that. I'll tune into that. Because that's an even playing field. That is a fair fight. I hate it. I hate it. And Jake Paul is going to be the biggest villain in the history of boxing if he does this to Mike Tyson. Just taking this fight, offering this fight, was ridiculous and stupid. And I hate that Jake Paul went this route. It shows how low and utterly diabolical, despicable a person can get to. A person can steep down towards. It's ridiculous. It's disgusting. That's what it is. And I hope on everything that we see Mike Tyson knock him out. That we see Mike, who's knowledgeable, who in the past would have cleaned him out easily, turn back the clock one more time. But it's because he's 60 years old, nearly 58 on the night of the fight. It's a ridiculous thing to say that, logically, to say that he can beat him. You should beat him. You should beat him. But it's not a great win. It's not a good win. It's not a respectable win. It's outright ridiculous. And I hate it. Nobody gets beat to Kingdom Come. Again, put in the coma. That's what I hope happens to Jake Paul in this fight. One round, put in the coma. Counter to Kingdom Come. Can't even get a punch off. I hope that happens. Or it's made to look foolish with Tyson's peekaboo style. And Tyson somehow turns back the clock. And not only doesn't get hit, but destroys. Because one thing about Jake Paul, we're ending on this ride doesn't end until he gets knocked out. Not until he loses, because he lost against Tyson Fury or Tommy Fury. Not until he gets beat up, no, knocked out. He won't end until he gets KO'd. Until he gets stopped clean. I don't want to see an icon and a legend and somebody that me and the rest of the boxing world hold in such high esteem. I don't want to see him get beat.